All right, guys, Darren from FBA Elite, and welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, I want to answer a question that arose from last week's video. And I think it's super important, especially for new sellers, as although Amazon FBA has huge potential, it also needs the correct management to make sure that you don't expose yourself to too much risk. So there's a question that come from last week's video. So last week's video, I was explaining how for the first time ever, between my different incomes, my business had generated over £10,000 in 1 month, which is the first time I'd ever hit that goal. And there were lots of positive comments. So thank you to everyone that took the time to comment on that video. But one comment in particular, I think it was here from Craig. It says, "Thanks, Darren. Your honesty and transparency is so refreshing. Congrats on your 10K a month. Thank you. Just one question. Given your knowledge, why do you still only sell 2 products?" Now, that is a really, really good question. I've been selling on Amazon for a couple of years, have seen sustained success, have got plenty of capital now to reinvest in the business. So why do I only sell 2 products? So initially, I'm just going to give you a load of kind of small excuses which I can use to try and justify why I haven't. And at the end, I'm going to give you the main reason that I haven't yet. Not that it's probably a strong enough reason why I shouldn't have done, but it's still a very strong reason. When I go into the detail of that, I think a lot of you new sellers will find that beneficial. So the first excuse is probably it's a little bit of laziness, to be honest. So I can't argue for that. Now, the second excuse, if we go through my story of selling on Amazon, so back to day one in September 2018, I think it was. So I've been selling on Amazon for just about 2.5 years at the moment. Now, the first year, the first 2 products went really well, and I was really excited. Launched a third product, which initially went really well as well, then started to go south after I got a really bad negative review. Someone actually left a negative review that had a video on it, which just basically destroyed my product. So that did kill that third product, and I did have other products in the pipeline at the time, and I think I did a video where I showed you the lunch bags that I was developing but never actually launched. So that initial year, all that excitement kind of ground to a halt slightly when the third product failed. But at the same time, I also had got myself into a very exposed position financially. So when I started selling my first product, I invested around £5,000 in the business. But within about 6 months, I think at one stage I had £20,000 to £25,000 of my own money invested in business, despite the fact I had 2 successful products. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. So that was why I slowed down in year 1. So year 1, that happened. So I slowed down, stopped launching new products, and just focused on recouping the capital from the profit that I was making. And by the end of year 1, I had repaid all of the investment that I'd put into the business, and the business was running on its own 2 feet. So we then moved into the second year. So if we say 2020, or the start of 2020 really, and we're starting to looking to launch some more products. And obviously, big old Rona arrived and ruined everything. And we had multiple lockdowns, and Amazon's changing of delivery dates, completely killing products. You know, my Amazon FBA business ground to a halt for the best part of probably 2 months. So that kind of dented the confidence again about wanting to take additional risk at that stage. And I've done videos over the past few months where I've documented how I've gone out of stock on products. I didn't want to risk reordering too early because we didn't know how things were going to play out. But anyway, 2020 happened, as I'm sure all of you guys are aware. So as we've got into 2021 and things seem to be getting back to normal, Amazon sales have been going really well. And as last week's video showed, even the earnings from December as well, they've both been really strong, and the business is in a good position to push forward from. So I am actively looking for new products at the moment. And actually, I do have a list. If you watch back from a few months ago, I said I was looking to launch a new product. I shortlisted a load of products at that time. So I do have some products that I'm already looking at and do want to launch. And I'm hoping now is the right time to do that. The business is in a good, stable position. Hopefully, we're going to be moving out of lockdown and things will return to normal for more of the time. But you never know what's on the horizon. But also, I don't have the capital in the business that if things don't go completely to plan, it shouldn't impact my overall business and lifestyle. But this is where a lot of new sellers need to be aware sometimes of the amount of money it takes to run an Amazon FBA business. Now, generally speaking, most of us, for most of our products, will be using sea shipping, which means there's always a long lead time between you actually paying for a product, it getting manufactured, it getting shipped to Amazon, you then selling through that stock, and then that money returning to your account as your initial investment plus the profit on top. So what can happen, or what usually happens, especially with my products, is pretty much any time I have outlaid for two full lots of inventory at any one time. So if you've got two products at all times, I'm invested in effectively 4 batches of stock. So if I launch another product, I'm going to be invested in 6 batches of stock. So to give you an example here, I'm also going to have to blur out the actual details that you see on this page. But these top 2 payments here are for my 2 products. So I've reordered some new inventory at the end of December. So at the end of December, I invested the best part of just under £13,000 there. So that's been invested since the end of December. Now in January, that product was being manufactured and it left China on the boat at the start of February. So at the moment, hopefully it's halfway to the UK. And that won't actually arrive until the end of February. And by the time it gets processed and devanned and delivered to Amazon, we're probably looking realistically at mid-March. So that £13,000 investment has been tied up from the end of December all the way until mid-March. And then based on a profit margin of around 30%, I'm going to need to sell through 70% of that stock before the full profit starts to arrive. Hopefully that makes sense. So realistically, we could be looking at kind of April, May time before I start to see any profit off of that investment. On top of that, I've also got the stock that's in Amazon at the moment. And when this does arrive, at the UK ports around the end of February / early March, I will probably then be placing an order for the next batch of stocks, which will again arrive about 3 months later. So all times I'll be invested £13,000 in one batch of stock for 2 products. And then as that arrives in the UK ports, I'll then place the order for another. So the best part of £26,000 just on the products, if you put customs duty on top of that. And with this one, with the crazy shipping charges at the moment, is going to cost me over £3,000 just in shipping alone for that batch, just to keep 2 products fully in stock is going to end up requiring an investment of over £30,000. So you can see why at the moment and in the past, I've been reluctant to want to launch too many products. So as a new seller, be aware of this. Sometimes the capital required to keep your products in stock, and when you have to reorder stock, even though you may have a full patch just arrived at Amazon, the amount of financial clout you need can be quite extensive. And that is one of the reasons why I haven't kind of rushed to then launch lots more products, because I've seen firsthand how much money I've had tied up at any one time. So that is the long answer to that very short question. Now, obviously, as I showed in last week's video, there is a potential to make very, very good returns from Amazon. And thankfully, things are going well. But always be aware of the risk that is involved and how much capital you could have tied up with them at any one time. Now, if you are interested in Amazon, feel free to join the FBA Elite forums. I'm on there pretty much every day answering questions on there. So join these forums. We've got over 2,000 members on there discussing Amazon FBA. If you want to learn all about Amazon FBA from a video perspective, go to my back catalogue. So just go on here. I've got videos covering pretty much every topic. They're not necessarily in the best order, but there should be enough there to get you started. But if you do really want to get a head start and go the course route, although we don't sell our own course, we do recommend a course on the resources section. So just go to resources, go to exclusive discounts, and you'll see a course recommendation there. And also a Helium 10 discount if you want to get started on your product research straight away. But hopefully you guys have found that useful, kind of getting a first-hand experience of how much money it can be needed to run an Amazon FBA business, and why sometimes it's better to just enjoy what you have and what is succeeding, rather than to risk too much money expanding your product range too fast. So hopefully you guys have found that useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you scroll down, hit that like button, and if you want to see more videos from me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the forums.